Sophia and I were in a car accident. After my boyfriend saved Sophia, he left me behind. When I was feeling desperate, my boyfriend's brother Ali rushed towards me without hesitation. He risked his life to save me with his own body. He took good care of me, and gentle stayed by my side. I was moved by his change and decided to marry him. 5 years after marriage, I finally got pregnant. Ali was so excited that he shed tears. He swore that he would love me and our child with his life. That night, I overheard him talking to the family doctor. The doctor said, "Ali, I'm really sorry. I accidentally replaced my wife's birth control pills with vitamins 5 years ago. I will follow your instructions and give her the abortion pills instead of the vitamins." The bus overturned. Sophia and I were trapped under it. My boyfriend made great efforts to rescue Sophia, but left me there just when I was about to despair. My boyfriend's brother Ali rushed towards me without hesitation. He risked his own life and rescued me at all costs. Later, we were both admitted to the hospital. He took good care of me and stayed by my side tenderly. He told me he had been secretly in love with me for many years and hoped to protect me forever. Under his careful care, I recovered and was discharged from the hospital. I was deeply moved by his act of redemption. Before long, we got married. 5 years into our marriage, I still hadn't been able to get pregnant. Just when I was about to give up, I found out that I was pregnant. Ali burst into tears with excitement. He hugged me tightly and kept kissing me. He told me to take good care of my body. He promised me that he would protect me and the baby with his life. Be good to us. That night, I overheard him talking to the family doctor. The doctor said, "Ali, I'm sorry. I accidentally took the wife's 5-year birth control pills instead of vitamins. I will do as you wish. I will give her the abortion pills instead of the birth control pills. Ali, I don't quite understand. Sophia has already given you 2 daughters. Why can't the wife?" Ali laughed coldly. "Only a boy can inherit our family's wealth. Sophia must give birth to this heir. No one else is allowed to compete with Sophia." Hearing these words, my heart suddenly felt cold. It felt as if I had fallen into an ice cellar. Could it be that all the affection he had shown me over the years was false? If that was really the case, I would definitely leave him. Even if Sophia gave birth to a son, that child would not be able to call you dad. The career you have worked so hard for over the years would be given away so easily. And your wife's child, this. Ali, is it really worth it? Ali's gaze is both firm and tender. It's worth it. Back then, when Sophia was in trouble, I wasn't able to help her in time. That's something I've always felt guilty about. Now, if it can make Sophia happy, I'm willing to give it all I've got, including the child I'm having with Emma. The doctor sighs. After a moment of hesitation, he says, "Ali, your wife has been on the pill for 5 years. Her body has already been affected. If she gives up this baby, she may never be able to conceive again." Ali frowned slightly. After a moment of silence, he said, "It's okay. Even if we don't have children, I will take care of her for the rest of her life." I covered my mouth with my hand. I tried desperately to hold back the sound of my sobs, but the tears just kept flowing. I heard the footsteps of the people leaving. I hurriedly ran back to my room. Because I was in such a hurry, I fell heavily on the cold floor. My tears wouldn't stop. My body kept shaking. We'd been married for 5 years. I had never been able to get pregnant. Ali and I had both gone to the hospital for tests. The results showed that he was fine, but I had a constitution that made it difficult for me to conceive. So, I always thought it was because of my physical problems that we hadn't been able to have a child. For 5 years, in order to have a child with Ali, I tried all kinds of tonics, but I never got pregnant. Ali's parents didn't care that he had worked hard to build the company. They insisted that Ali compete with his younger brother Liam. Whoever had a grandchild first would inherit the company. I didn't want Ali's hard work to be taken away by others, so I wanted a child even more. In order to get pregnant, I took supplements and exercised. I also tried many strange folk remedies. Even if I felt sick from taking the medicine, even if I exercised, I was so tired that I couldn't get up the next day. I even went to the hospital because of the strange remedies I tried. I never gave up. Whenever this happened, Ali would hug me tenderly and tell me over and over again, "Emma, I don't care if we have a child or not. I only want you. You are enough. Emma, I love you." This made me feel even more guilty towards him. After that, in order to get pregnant, I took even more extreme measures. The result, he knew perfectly well that no matter how hard I tried, I would never be able to get pregnant. But he just paid it lip service. He never actually stopped me. Even when I was about to give up, he kept encouraging me. He felt that Sophia was more important than me and the baby combined. When he saw me sitting on the floor, he hurriedly asked, "Emma, why are you sitting on the floor? Get up. Is the floor cold? Why are your eyes red? Did you cry?" Ali entered the room. He embraced me. Then he put me on the bed. I moved my body. Calmly, I said, "It's fine, I just fell accidentally." "Where did you fall? Does it hurt?" I shook my head. In a calm tone, I said, "No need, I'm fine." "That's good. My dear, you have worked hard to get pregnant. You have suffered a lot. Luckily, God is fair. You got what you wished for. I'll take good care of you, my dear. From now on, you don't have to worry about anything. Just let me handle everything. I'll take care of you like a national treasure, my little treasure. Dr. Zhu said you're just pregnant. The fetus is still unstable. So he prescribed some medicine to stabilize the fetus. Here, listen, drink the medicine. After you finish the medicine, take some vitamins. You must take good care of yourself. That way, our baby will be healthy." Ali handed me the pills. I stared at the so-called tranquilizers and vitamins. My heart was filled with sorrow and bitterness. This was his own flesh and blood. Did he really not care at all? I thought back to the past 5 years. I had never been able to conceive a child. Every time I felt lost and sad, he would hold me in his arms. He would comfort me softly. He would patiently soothe me. I thought that was his way of showing me he cared. Little did I know, that was actually a knife stabbing me in the heart. He said, "I think the baby is healthy. You shouldn't eat anything when you're pregnant." "I won't eat it." I refused. Ali gently cupped my face. His tone was gentle. "It was so hard to get pregnant. Don't be so willful. You have to listen to me. Take the medicine. Our baby will be safe. I'll always be there for you. I'll watch our baby grow day by day. I'll feed you. And after you've eaten, I'll rest with you. My dear, sleep well." He didn't give me any chance to resist. He practically forced the pill down my throat, but I never said a word. I just looked at him quietly and watched his face grow dark. "Emma, you're being irresponsible to your baby." Ali's expression grew serious. I looked at the pill, and then at her, and smiled bitterly. "Ali, even if I'm pregnant with a girl, it won't affect Sophia's happiness at all, and you don't want to take that risk, do you? You're afraid that if I give birth to a boy, it will threaten Sophia's position, so you're even taking away my right to be a mother, aren't you?" I was disheartened and swallowed the pill silently. Ali let out a sigh of relief and held me in his arms, whispering, "Emma is such a good girl." I closed my eyes. I didn't want to look at him anymore. In the middle of the night, the medicine began to take effect. My stomach hurt terribly. Ali called the family doctor. He arrived in less than 5 minutes. I understood. The doctor never left. He was waiting for this moment. After 5 years of trying, I finally welcomed my own child. However, happiness came quickly and went just as quickly. I lost him very quickly. My heart was torn apart. The pain was unbearable. Just then, I heard the doctor say, "Illy, Mrs. Chen, this miscarriage has caused severe bleeding. Your body has been severely damaged. It is likely that you will not be able to conceive again." Ali embraced me in his arms with great tenderness. He assured me, "Emma, I'm sorry. I failed to protect you and our child, but it's okay, even without a child. I will stay by your side forever. I love you more than anything." I was in floods of tears. I couldn't say a word. From then on, Ali took care of me personally every day. He cooked for me, fed me, helped me bathe, and comforted me over and over again. He almost wanted to give me everything. That night, Ali fell asleep. He held my hand, gently placed it on his chest, and whispered, "Sophia, don't worry. I will protect you, make you happy. I will love you forever." My tears could not stop flowing. My heart ached so much I could hardly breathe. At the beginning, when he said he had been in love with me for a long time, he was actually lying to me. He just wanted me to give up Liam and help Sophia. He married me, pretended to love me. It was just to prevent me from ruining Sophia's happiness. The happy marriage I thought I had. In fact, from beginning to end, it was a carefully planned calculation. I picked up my phone. I walked over to the baby's room next door. I sent a text message to my aunt, who was abroad. "Auntie, last time you asked me to go traveling with you. I've made up my mind. I'll come and see you in 3 days." I put down my phone. I looked at the baby's room that Ali and I had decorated together. My heart ached again. In the first year of my pregnancy, I joyfully began decorating this room. At that time, Ali was there with me. We carefully selected every single item. I thought he was just as full of anticipation as I was, but it was all a lie. 5 whole years. 5 whole years. I finally got to have a child, but Ali destroyed it all with his own hands. I can't control my emotions again. I'm scared. If I stay in the nursery any longer, I don't think I'll be able to hold back any longer. As I stand up to leave, I feel something wrong with the cushion under my feet. I crouched down, lifted the cushion. A delicate box appeared before my eyes. I opened it curiously and found inside it was a picture book. Inside the picture book were portraits of Sophia from infancy to the age of 25. Under each painting was written, "I love Sophia." Illy painted. Illy is very talented at drawing. His brother Liam had mentioned this to me before, but Illy never picked up a brush again after he turned 18. Liam told me, Illy has spent his whole life painting only the people he loves most. After we got married, I asked Illy many times to paint me, but he always found some excuse to refuse. I couldn't help asking him, "If you don't want to paint me, is it because I'm not the person you love most?" Illy hugged me tightly and told me firmly, "I'm the person he loves most," he explained. The reason he didn't draw me was because he wanted to wait until I was pregnant. He said, I and the baby would be the two people he loved most in his life. At that moment, I was particularly moved. Now I understand. He didn't draw me, not because he was waiting for me to get pregnant. In fact, he only drew Sophia, who he loved the most. I cried until my tears ran dry, numbly put the box back where it was. Then, I bought a plane ticket to go abroad and wrote the divorce papers. Since his favorite was Sophia, why should I continue to hold him back? The next day, I sat lazily at the dining table. When Lee saw me like this, it hurt him. He volunteered to go to the kitchen and make me a nutritious breakfast. Without saying a word, he fed me directly to my mouth. His movements were gentle and careful. For a moment, I almost thought that what happened yesterday was just a dream. I thought he still loved me as much as before, but the discomfort in my body woke me up. His indifference was real. Seeing that I didn't react, he let out a soft sigh. "Emma, I know you're sad about the baby, but you have to eat something. Only by taking care of your health can you get pregnant again. I'm really worried about you like this." I looked up at him and asked, "Illy, can I really get pregnant again?" I noticed a guilty look in his eyes, but it quickly disappeared. He seemed to have made up his mind. He said seriously, "Yes, we will definitely have a child. My mother heard that you had a miscarriage. She is very worried about you. She said she would come and see you." Before I could say anything, the doorbell rang. Sophia walked in with my mother-in-law. Since Sophia and Liam got married, we haven't seen each other. I never thought she would come to my house. When she saw me, she had a smug smile on her face. "Emma, we haven't seen each other for 5 years. You don't look well. Hey, I finally got pregnant, but I lost the baby. I was hoping I was pregnant too. We could be together. Sophia is pregnant again. I'm pregnant with Elie's baby again. She came to show off." I thought about Sophia, who had given birth to 3 children in 5 years, and me, who had finally managed to get pregnant after 5 years. But then I had an abortion. I felt a sharp pain in my heart. When my mother-in-law saw that I was not saying anything, her face immediately turned ugly. "You can't even give birth to a child. What kind of woman are you? How could my son ever look at you?" It really made me angry. Fortunately, Sophia is capable. The doctor said she was pregnant with a boy. Sophia is a great contributor to our family. Quick, pour her a glass of water. Women who can't bear children are useless. My mother-in-law is very unhappy with me. In the past, Ali would have stood by my side. But now, he only has eyes for Sophia. He looks at Sophia with such affection. He doesn't even notice that I'm being scolded by my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law says, "Mom, don't be angry. Emma won't be a mother. She doesn't want to be. She must be feeling even worse than we are," Sophia said, trying to persuade me. "If you can't give birth, don't keep my son waiting." My mother-in-law kept on scolding me. Sophia pretended to be kind and spoke up for me. She even took my hand to comfort me. I immediately pulled my hand back. Sophia lost her balance. Ali immediately stepped forward. He put his arms around her. Worried, he asked, "Are you okay? Do you need to go to the hospital?" Before Sophia could answer, Ali glared at me angrily. "Sophia is pregnant now, and she was trying to comfort you. You couldn't even keep the baby. Why are you yelling at her?" This was the first time Ali had spoken to me in that tone. I froze. I couldn't say anything for a long time. I understood. The reason he was like that was because in the 5 years we had been married, Sophia had only ever appeared in front of me once. If she had appeared earlier, Ali would have spoken to me in the same tone. Sophia looked at me with a smug smile on her face. Then she cooed at Ali. "Illy." My feet hurt a little. Illy picked up Sophia and walked straight back to the room. My mother-in-law gave me a cold look and said, "A woman who can't give birth to children is useless in the family. If Sophia were Illy's wife, the children would have been born long ago. Seeing your listless face makes me feel uncomfortable. My mother-in-law has always had a problem with me. She thinks I'm not faithful. I first separated from her youngest son. Then I married her eldest son. Because of me, her eldest son and youngest son haven't seen each other for 5 years. And I haven't been able to get pregnant. She's even more unhappy with me. Every time she sees me, she's always sarcastic. I consider that she's Ali's mother, and I haven't been able to get pregnant myself. I feel quite bad about it, and every time Ali will stand by my side, so I can only tolerate it again and again. Now, Ali only has Sophia in her eyes and heart. Where would she remember me? Looking at my mother-in-law's appearance, I really want to tell her the whole truth. I was about to speak, but my mother-in-law turned with a disgusted look and walked away without looking back. Forget it. I'm leaving anyway. There's no need to say anything more to them. I feel completely powerless. I just want to go back to my room and rest. When I pass by the baby's room, I noticed that the door was ajar. I thought I had left it open, so I went over to close it. Just as I reached the door, I heard Sophia's urgent voice. Ali, you are still the one who treats me well. If Emma gives birth to a son, what am I going to do in the family? Ali whispered. His tone was restrained. Sophia, I was unable to save you in time. You were hurt. I have always felt very guilty about it. I told you, as long as you are happy, I would give my life for you. Don't worry. I won't let Emma have a child, and I won't let anyone shake your position in the family. I want you to be happy forever, Sophia whispered to Ali. Ali, thank you for being so good to me. I love you. Then she kissed him gently on the lips. Ali responded passionately to her kiss. The two embraced intimately on the floor. I had never seen Ali so passionate. I had always thought that he was only gentle. My tears flowed uncontrollably. I fled home in a panic. I didn't go back all night. Ali didn't call me either. The next day, I finally returned home. Ali and Sophia were eating in the dining room. When they saw me come in, Ali hurried to explain. My mother hasn't been home for the past 2 days. I didn't feel comfortable leaving Sophia alone at home, so she's staying here for now. I'll be leaving soon. I didn't want to deal with them at all. Sophia saw how I was. A sneering smile appeared on her face. Then she hugged herself lightly. Ali saw how she was. Hurry and give her your jacket. Sophia, wear more, don't catch a cold. I'll go get you a thick sweater from beginning to end. Ali didn't even look at me. I ignored their intimacy. I was going to go back to my room. Just as I reached the stairs, Sophia grabbed my hand. Let go of me, I said coldly. Sophia narrowed her eyes before I could react. She pulled me to her side. Did I give you permission to leave? Emma, don't you know who you are yet? Look at the way you look now. No wonder Ali isn't interested in you. He said you were lifeless in bed, bland. Did you see how passionate he was with me? Aren't you jealous? Sophia's face broke out into a smug grin. Actually, she had deliberately left the door open. How does it feel to be pregnant? Oh, I shouldn't ask you. After all, the baby isn't even in your belly yet. It'll be 2 months before that happens. What a shame. You'll never experience what it's like to be pregnant and give birth. You're just a hen that can't lay eggs. You thought you could get pregnant by eating all those strange concoctions. Actually, I prepared those concoctions especially for you. I added quite a few things to them. When you were eating them, didn't you feel anything was wrong? It suddenly occurred to me. Those concoctions I ate always had an unpleasant smell. Could it be that? My stomach felt a bit uncomfortable. I almost threw up. Does Ali know that you prepared those concoctions for me? I suppressed the discomfort and asked her. Of course, I specifically told him, if you don't drink it, find a way to make you drink it. He'll definitely make you drink it to make me happy. Sophia laughed happily. Yes, every time I couldn't drink it. Ali always encouraged me to keep drinking at that time. I thought he was just as eager as I was. To have a child of our own. Now I understand he did all that, but only to make Sophia happy. Sophia came up to me and whispered, I forgot to tell you. This time you're pregnant with twins. The doctor even checked. And they're both boys. I froze and couldn't speak for a long time. A son and a daughter. I didn't really care. What I did care about were the twins. Those were 2 little lives. I said I couldn't keep either one. And Ali really didn't keep either one. Sophia hadn't finished speaking. I gave her 2 hard slaps just then. Ali came out of the room. Sophia let out a cry and fell backwards. Sophia. Ali rushed over to her. As he passed me, he pushed me aside. I didn't stand steady and fell over as well. Ali held Sophia close, anxiously asking, Sophia, are you okay? Does it hurt? Sophia leaned into his arms, clutching his arm tightly. Ali, don't blame Emma. I was just trying to comfort her. I never thought she would blame me for the miscarriage and the inability to get pregnant. She even wanted to harm me and the baby. He responded, Emma, you can't get pregnant yourself, and you can't keep a baby. That's your problem. Why are you blaming Sophia? Ali was angry with me. I stared at his face. I suddenly felt a great sense of disappointment. I thought to myself, am I really useless? I asked. You are useless. Sophia is pregnant. How could you be so cruel? No wonder you don't have a child. You are so vicious. You better hope that Sophia is fine. Otherwise, our whole family will come after you. Ali stared at me. His eyes were full of hostility. It was as if I were his enemy. He looked so angry. He even wanted to hurt me. Suddenly, I remembered how he had risked his life to save me. It was the same face, but it was completely different now. I gave a bitter smile and nodded. Lee, you're right. I'm useless. Sophia is very capable. That's why she had 3 children in 5 years. Don't worry. I won't oppose her in the future. Hurry up and take her to the hospital. Please don't let anything happen. After I finished, I stood up and went back to my room. Ali watched my back as I walked away. Suddenly, he felt a little uneasy. He tried to take my hand, but Sophia held him back. Ali, my stomach hurts really bad. Can you take me to the hospital? Ali hesitated for a moment. In the end, he carried Sophia and walked away. At that moment, I suddenly sat up. I tightly grabbed his wrist. I didn't ask him to stay, but I held on to his hand. My eyes were already blurred with tears. Ali's expression had also changed. Sophia saw this and her face suddenly turned ugly. With a quivering voice, she said, Ali, I'm in pain. Only then did Ali come back to his senses. He immediately shook off my hand. He picked up Sophia and walked away without looking back. I stood there, watching them go. Then I went into the nursery and pulled everything out. Then I put up the picture Ali had drawn of Sophia on the wall. After that, I burned all the things Ali had bought me over the years. Finally, I put together a list of all the remedies I had drunk. It was a thick stack. I put it on the dining table. Then I took out the divorce papers. I was ready to sign them. Then the WeChat message came. Sophia sent a message. I don't actually have a stomachache, but Ali still insisted on staying with me. He was worried that something might go wrong. I was worried that I was pregnant with a daughter this time, but he didn't care. He said he would definitely stay with me to give birth to a son. Are you jealous of me? I said I was afraid that you would get pregnant again. Ali wanted to reassure me. He was going to let you have the operation. Just you wait, and also, I'm actually not pregnant. I just wanted to test Ali to see if he would listen to me. He didn't disappoint me. I took a screenshot of the chat. I was about to send it to Ali, but then his phone rang. Sophia, I hadn't finished speaking, he interrupted. Sophia has accidentally moved the fetus. I have to stay with her at the hospital tonight. I won't be back. I swallowed my words. I didn't think it was necessary to say anything. He cared so much about Sophia. He wouldn't believe anything I said. Why make things difficult for yourself, okay? You stay with her. When Sophia is discharged from the hospital, you will go pick her up yourself and apologize to her. If she refuses to forgive you, then I won't forgive you either. After Ali finished speaking, he hung up the phone directly. I picked up a pen and signed my name on the divorce agreement. Then I burned the divorce certificate. The fire was like my love for him. It turned to ashes. The flames burned fiercely. They gradually died down and finally turned to ashes. I packed my bags. I left my phone in the baby's room. Then I left without looking back. They couldn't wait for my apology. Sophia stayed in the hospital for 3 days. Ali stayed with her the whole time. During those 3 days, Ali waited for news from me every day. In the past, no matter how fierce our arguments were, I would always send him a good morning and good night message the next day. For 5 years of marriage, I never stopped. But these 3 days, he never received a message from me. At first, he thought I was ignoring him because I wasn't feeling well or in the mood. The next day, he still didn't receive a message from me. On the 3rd day, he began to feel uneasy. Because I had once told him, I felt that between lovers. If you don't contact each other for more than 3 days, it means the relationship is over. I love you so much. I don't want to lose contact with you for even 1 day. If I suddenly don't contact you for 3 days, it must be because you've done something to hurt me. I want to break up with you. Ali became anxious. He asked his assistant to come to the house to pick me up. As it turned out, the assistant hurriedly arrived at the hospital with the divorce papers. Ali didn't see me. With a gloomy face, he asked, "Where's Emma? Why didn't she come? Ali, the wife is missing. Here are the documents she left for you." The assistant handed Ali the divorce papers. Sophia couldn't help but sneer when she saw the divorce papers. "Emma, we've been married for 5 years. Why do you keep mentioning divorce? This is really selfish. Ali has been busy for 3 days straight. As her wife, it's fine if she doesn't care about or consider her husband. But she even went missing. It's really hard to know what to say. Ali, Emma is doing this on purpose. She's jealous that you brought me to the hospital and stayed with me. She's talking about divorce. She just wants to put you in your place, make you give in. She's always like this. She's the one who pushed me down the stairs. And now she's acting like the victim. She's threatening to take my kids away. Is that how she'll get her way? She's really heartless. Ali, don't worry about her. She just won't apologize to me. How can she really divorce you? She can't have children, except for you. Who else would want her? You have to teach her a good lesson this time, so that she doesn't behave so willfully in the future. Ali didn't say anything. His eyes rested on the divorce papers. Emma's signature was clearly visible to him. He understands me. I would never joke about a divorce on our first wedding anniversary. We went to see a romantic movie together. The man in the movie cheated on the woman. But in the end, she chose to forgive him. It had a happy ending. At that time, I whispered in his ear, Ali, if you ever betray me, I will never forgive you. The word divorce is too serious. I will not say it lightly, but if I ever mention it, it means I have made up my mind to leave you. No one can change my mind. Back then, Ali was always trying to find ways to avoid getting me pregnant. He didn't take those words seriously at all. Now that he thinks about it, his heart begins to panic. Ali suddenly remembers the day he took Sophia away. I stopped them. He still remembers Sophia's tearful eyes. At the moment, Ali feels his breathing become rapid. His heart feels empty. It's as if he's lost something precious. Assistant, you go back and tell Emma, don't play these games. Sophia was in the middle of saying something when Ali interrupted her. Emma is your sister-in-law. How can you just call her by her first name? Ali looked at Sophia with displeasure in his tone. Sophia hadn't expected Ali to speak to her in that tone. She bit her lip. It looked like she was being aggrieved. Emma and I have been friends for years. I know her. Ali interrupted her. If you really considered her a friend, you wouldn't have first taken her boyfriend. And then her husband. Don't you forget. That car accident. She was crushed under the car trying to save you. And this is how you treat the person who saved your life. Sophia's face turned pale. She clutched his arm tightly and said in pain, Ali, I have a stomach ache. He had always thought Sophia was understanding, weak and helpless. But what she just said, and the expression on her face when she said it, completely changed his opinion. Ali pulled his hand back. His tone was cold. The doctor said you're physically fine. Don't pretend to be sick in front of me. If you really feel unwell, stay in the hospital. You have a husband. Don't come to me, your big brother, for help in the future. And I've done everything I can for you. Now, you're pregnant with a boy. Everything is just as you wished. We don't need to keep in touch. I will live a good life with Emma from now on. If you dare to tell Emma about our relationship, I will never let you off lightly. After Ali said this, he turned around and left. He took out his mobile phone and immediately called me. I was on the plane. I couldn't get in touch with him at all. He hurried home. He saw the recipe I left on the dining table and a note I wrote. Sophia added something to my recipe. Every time you watched me drink it, were you happy for her? Ali's hand trembled. Emma, you know everything. He hurried upstairs to find me. When he passed the nursery, he noticed the door was open. He thought I was in there. He ran in to call me but was shocked by the sight before him. Everything that had been there for the baby was gone. Instead, there were the paintings he had drawn for Sophia hanging on the wall. Ali called me again. Still no answer. He asked Emma, do you really know everything? He looked up and saw my phone on the cot. He picked it up when he saw what was on it. His face instantly turned pale. Then with a thud, he fell to his knees. His voice trembled as he said, Emma, so you knew the whole time. It felt like a knife had been plunged into his heart. The pain was indescribable. It hurt so much. I had finally arrived at my destination. My aunt came to pick me up, seeing that I didn't look well. She asked me concernedly how I was doing. My aunt was the only family I had in the world. I didn't want to hide anything from her, so I told her everything about Ali and me. After hearing what I had to say, she hugged me and cried for more than half an hour. She blamed herself for everything. She felt particularly guilty towards me. Auntie, I didn't tell you the truth before. It's my fault. It's not your fault. I never thought Ali would. Don't talk about him anymore. If I see him, I won't let him off the hook. He really let me down. Auntie nagged on for more than 2 hours. After she settled me down, she didn't go on her holiday right away. Instead, she found a professional doctor to treat my body. Actually, I didn't care anymore. I would never get married again anyway. my aunt said. Whether you want to have children or not is one thing, but whether you can have children is another. At her insistence, I went to see a doctor. The doctor told me, "You're lucky. Your health is not yet so bad that you can't get pregnant. Just keep exercising, take your medicine regularly, and stay in a good mood. You'll recover." After the doctor finished, my aunt finally felt relieved. Later, she took me to the South Pole to see the penguins, to the North Pole to see the aurora borealis, and on a cruise to see the ocean. While traveling, I slowly forgot about the unhappy things. When I was free, I photographed the scenery, made a travel guide, and posted it on a certain book. It was read by many people. Later, I became a travel blogger. I really like to travel around, see different scenery. I traveled all over the world. Ellie, however, desperately searched for me. Sophia was not pregnant after all. Liam was also not the father. In order to have a son and inherit the family fortune, she decided to go to Ellie. She asked, "Ellie, haven't you found Emma yet? She's really petty. It's been so long since it happened. She's still angry. She doesn't love you at all. She doesn't even know you." "Stop it. She doesn't love me." "Do you love me?" Ellie shouted angrily. "You think I don't know you're the one who told Emma about us? You even sent her a WeChat message to provoke her." Sophia's eyes filled with tears. Defending herself, "I didn't. I really didn't. Lee, I love you. I'm desperate for a boy, and I want to give you everything the family has to offer. I don't love Liam. I only love you. Me. If it weren't for the fact that Liam can't have children, would you have come to me? You only love money." "Not me at all. I warned you before. You can't tell Emma about all this. Why did you tell her anyway? You want a son, right? I'll give you one." Ellie shouted towards the door. "Come in." Several men walked in. They stared at Sophia. Their faces wore a sinister expression. "You like it. They've come to help you. Don't do this." "Ellie, you can't do this to me." "No, let me go, you guys." Sophia cried out. The men dragged her into the room. A moment later, her screams could be heard. I went on a few more trips. I looked refreshed. I thought my life would always be this good. Then Ellie appeared. He found me after all. The moment he saw me, his eyes immediately turned red, like a child who's been wronged. "Emma, I've finally found you." As soon as my aunt saw him, she grabbed her bag and threw it at him. "You bad boy. This is outrageous. How dare you come to Emma? Leave at once. Go as far away as you can." Ellie realized he had done wrong. He bowed his head and immediately knelt before me. "Emma, I was wrong. I really was wrong. Please give me a chance. I want to talk to you, please. I'm worried that my aunt will get sick. Just say, 'Auntie, I can handle this. Go home and wait for me.'" Auntie hesitated a little, but seeing my determined expression, she finally let Ellie leave angrily. "Emma, I really miss you." Ellie's eyes were red with anger. I heard him say, a sneer. "Thinking about what? Trying to prevent me from getting pregnant. You want me to take strange remedies to make Sophia happy. You want me to give up the baby, make way for Sophia." Ellie's face paled instantly. He hurriedly shook his head to deny it. "Emma, you've got it all wrong. Sophia tricked me into all this. She made me do it." "Really?" Emma interrupted him coldly. "If she forced you, you could have refused. But every time I was hurt, you were the one who did it yourself," I said coldly. Ellie was full of guilt and pain and said, "Emma, I'm sorry. I really know I was wrong. I have already broken off contact with Sophia. Now I understand. I love you. We have been married for 5 years. I have long been deeply attracted to you. I thought this would continue for the next 5 years. Emma, I really love you. Since leaving you, I am on the verge of collapse. Please come back to me soon." "Okay, if you'll come back, I'll do anything. I know you still love me. Let's not dwell on the past. Let's start again, okay?" I looked at Ellie's face. I couldn't help but laugh. "You said you'd do anything for me. Ellie, I actually want you to disappear. Would you like that?" Ellie was at a loss for words. He couldn't say a word for a long time. I said, "I really hope you disappear. From the moment you started to manipulate me, you should have disappeared. You made me take the pill for 5 years. You really went too far. You made me take all those crazy home remedies. You went too far. You caused my child to be born. You are truly unforgivable. Lee, I really hate you." I said every word with conviction. My eyes were firm. My tone was cold. He knew. I wasn't just angry. "I truly hope he dies." Ellie and I had been married for 5 years. How could he not see how I felt at that moment? "You hate me that much?" Ellie's eyes welled with tears. "Yes, I hate you. I hate you so much that I wish you would disappear. Lee, I once truly loved you. In order to have a child with you, I was willing to give everything. But you, in order to give Sophia a boy, you deprived me of the right to become a mother. How could you do that? I begged you not to make me take the sedative. Did you hear me? You fed it to me yourself. You even planned to remove my uterus. Ali, is this how you say you love me? Ali cried. Emma, you've got it all wrong. It's not what you think. Please let me go. If you still have the slightest bit of remorse in your heart, you should understand staying with you. I really can't live like this. You've already killed our child. Are you going to let my mother go too? I didn't let Ali speak. I just turned around and left. He knelt there, motionless. When I left the next day, he was gone. Half a month later, Ali and I successfully divorced. He chose to leave with nothing, leaving all his assets to me. I accepted. Because of the harm he had caused me, I really needed to be compensated. A year later, I heard news about Ali again. Sophia had given birth to her third child. It was indeed a son, but the child's skin was black. After Liam's persistent questioning, the truth came to light. It turned out that Ali had done something bad to Sophia. Sophia had also provoked a rift between Liam and his brother Ali. In his rage, Liam attacked Ali. Ali did not fight back. As a result, Liam killed him by accident. Later, Liam discovered that his two daughters were actually Ali's children. He was extremely angry with Sophia. Every day, he beat Sophia and the children. But this still could not quell his anger. One late night, he set fire to Sophia and the children and was arrested and imprisoned. The family suddenly suffered a major blow. The family couple was plunged into deep grief. Within half a year, they passed away one after the other. My aunt looked at me and asked softly, "Will you be sad when Ali dies?" I stared out the window. The sky was dark with clouds. The air was stuffy and humid. It felt as if the sky was weighing down on me, but I knew, once this rain let up, the sky would clear. I shook my head gently and said calmly, "It's all over now, I'm fine."